30 years ago was quite a day, Ken.
Yes, it was.
Where were you, and what do you remember from that day, Black Monday?
Like it was every other day at my desk, doing business. I remember the crash. I remember being, in part, confused by it. Although, as you look back retrospectively, you look at where interest rates were and alternatives for investments, and you realize that investors then had viable choices. And that's why I think a comparison with today is invalid. You look where interest rates are now. I think a ready recipe for losing money is to buy long bonds. Why? Because rates are likely to go up, particularly if this economy comes through the way it appears it wants to. So I was in my office. I was shocked. I wasn't necessarily worried for two reasons. One, I knew the companies I had invested in. I knew they were balance sheet in good shape. I also knew that they had good businesses. And two, I have a healthy respect for not having lenders as my partner, because that's when you lose control of what decisions you make. So I understand financial engineering, and I understand how it works, and I understand it's applicable in some cases. In my case, I like to be the sole determinant of my future.
And you held pat there. I mean, Home Depot was...
No, as a matter of fact, I added... I didn't add to Depot because I had so much, but I added to Eli Lilly then. I still have Lilly. I added to a small company I had an investment in North Carolina, Unify, the textile company. So I had buying power, and I saw it as an opportunity. And I remember Stan Druckenmiller and I were on the phone 6, 8, 10 times through the night trying to figure out what was going on as we watched this contagion go around the world. But you know, you had a lot of loose ends. You had the Iran-Contra scandal, and you had all kinds of issues there. But it was a time to hold.
And what's the legacy 30 years on? Is there one? How did it change business?
Well, I think hopefully it gave people a healthy respect for the dangers of leverage, okay? And I think also you have to look at investments as alternatives. In other words, at the end of the day, I don't care who you are or what you are, the ultimate reason why you buy a stock or a bond is to get a check every once in a while as a return on your investment, okay? You know, I'm not a very good timer. And I think I'm like most people for one reason. In a calendar year, there's 8 trading days when a stock will give you most of its performance for the whole year. And I'm not smart enough to know those 8 days, okay? And the only way to get them is to be there when they happen, before they happen. So that's my belief. And then the other thing I do is I spend an awful lot of time trying to understand what's going on in the company, what's going on with sales, what's going on with manufacturing costs, what's going on with competitive pressures. So, I mean, you know, I kind of like to get to the numbers before those numbers result in numbers that Wall Street looks like.